Good morning, investing sisters and brothers and sisters, near and far. Where I am, we are clearly in the middle of winter, although talked to a friend in the nearby state of Idaho, and he had 18 inches of snowfall in a fairly short amount of time. Some friends in Alaska, I think they had over 20, so I'm not going to complain. I've got about 4, and I actually like snow. I'm just got to make things have to be a little more deliberate when you're dealing with snow, as those of you who live in northern conditions know. I kind of logged on to X yesterday and was looking at people talking about various kinds of investments, and then obviously went over to check on AMC, and there are still a few who feel Adam is playing 4D chess, and I think he is. I'm just maybe not in agreement on who the opponent is. For those of you who invested a lot in AMC and who feel ripped off, I didn't invest as much, but I do feel ripped off. It's not the first time I've been ripped off by a CEO. Years ago, I had that happen. I had stock options in a company and ended up being 90% sure the CEO was embezzling, and he had structured the things so that even me as a vice president and board member really had no latitude in terms of taking action against him. But eventually he did a little jail time, and now he's in politics. Go figure. I would say for those of you who are struggling with feeling ripped off, because it's tough. I look at Mike the Marine's page, but his posts, and Donahue George is maybe a little more dealing, with day-to-day stuff that occurs with the stock and similar stocks, Mullen, things that are being manipulated clearly. For those of you going through that, I really do sympathize. It is not a great feeling, and especially when some of you have invested a huge amount of, hard-earned money with the idea that you've done your due diligence. And really, if you're like me, it wasn't until about August of 2022 until I really had kind of confirmed proof that the CEO was acting in someone else's best interest. And I think the continued proof of that is that where is this guy in social media in terms of addressing the fact that the stock, we're all over 90% down, I believe, at this point, unless you just bought, way, way early on. At any rate, for those of you who are going through that, it can be stressful. Obviously, we're in December. Christmas issues, holiday issues come up. I know that, and this is maybe getting a little out past what I normally talk about, but I do have some experience with this. I'm not qualified to dispense mental health advice, so you should do your own due diligence. But for my money, and I've seen some of these things work for close friends and family, and even myself when I've been stressed. Things like EMDR, EFT, NLP, all of which are researchable on this platform, can be really helpful in taking your level of stress down and kind of processing some of the overwhelm that you get when you realize you've been taken advantage of by a guy who was supposed to have your best interests in mind. So yeah, it's a real thing. When you have invested a lot of money and you've been ripped off, it's stressful. And for those of you who are grappling with that, I would say, yeah, EMDR, EFT, NLP are worth researching. I'm not going to say, hey, you should try these. Do the research and see if any of those are a fit for you. And I know there are other things out there too. Hypnotherapy. I mean, I've done that. I've had enormous success with that in years past. So And don't be afraid to do that, and reach out if you need help. If you're really hurting because of the experience you've had, it's understandable. Back in 2000, when my previous example happened to me, there were over 40 of us that lost jobs and just had a horrible experience because of one guy. And so it is well within reason that you could be struggling, and maybe some of those modalities would help. So at any rate, that's going to be it for me. I got to get some work done here, and just know that you're not alone. There are those of us who are also grappling with, being down over 90% and really seeing no meaningful protection for retail in that regard. I think it could be coming. I'm kind of in a mode where I'll believe it when I see it. I'm just moving on to other stuff. So I guess the other thing that I do is I've already kind of moved on to other investments, and AMC is kind of one of the things that I've had on hold for a couple of years. I've not invested any more money with the company and don't plan to unless there's a massive regime change. So at any rate, I hope maybe some of that helps. EMDR, EFT, NLP, hypnotherapy, there's a bunch of stuff out there that can maybe bring stress levels down, and it's not a laughing matter. It is really something worth looking at, and you can research all of that right here and then figure out if that's helpful for you. Maybe find a healthcare professional who could weigh in on that, many of which are quite accessible online too. So at any rate, I wish you the best, and we're still in this together. I'm still holding. I just don't think about it as much. But if you are thinking about it, take care of you and yours, and know that you're not alone. Take care.